righty, present. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Amazing. All righty, let's get started. So, yeah, this is basically my thesis project. So overcoming the game of golf through injury prevention and performance enhancing golf accessories. There we go. Alrighty, so why don't we just take a minute or two to introduce ourselves. My name's Declan. I'm a fourth year interaction design student, and I am also a member at Credit Valley Golf Club. So yeah.
My name's Donovan Fraser. I'm the director of golf at Credit Valley Golf Country Club, and I've been at the club for 3 years in the current.
Perfect.
And my name is Jason Hanna. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Credit Valley Golf Club. I've been at the club for 14 years. This is my second year in the role of Chief Operating Officer.
Awesome.
And I'm Casey Ward, the Director of Instruction at the Credit Valley Golf and Country Club.
Alrighty, perfect. Let's keep going. Alrighty, so what is my product? Well, basically, I am designing a product that will allow golfers of any age to improve their game as well as decrease the risk of golf-related injuries. So basically, while utilizing my product, users will have the opportunity to adjust and correct their golf grip in order to develop a custom molded training grip that easily attaches and detaches to any of their golf clubs. After this product is developed and tailored to the user's hand size and position, they will receive feedback from the grip through a sensor that indicates their ideal grip force. This interactive addition will further enhance and correct their grip while preventing injuries due to overgripping a golf club. So why did I choose this? Well, I've played golf my whole life. I've really enjoyed it. It's just something that I've kind of taken very seriously. I'm currently a member at Credit Valley. And one thing I know Donovan is aware through our lessons, grip has sort of been an issue for me. So yeah, I've received multiple lessons where my grip is corrected and adjusted. However, I have found it difficult to maintain its consistency after the lesson is over. And just an add-on, I also love 3D modeling and printing, which made this a great learning opportunity. Yeah, so here's just some secondary research that sort of validates why I pursued this. So golf continues to increase in popularity. It is clear that there is a solid market for this problem space. With an increase in baby boomers retiring, golfers aged 55 and up continue to grow exponentially. Not only is this demographic contributing to more players, these golfers are playing more and more golf due to retirement. This combination of older golfers playing more frequently has brought to my attention the importance of decreasing the risk of golf-related injuries. So here's just a little summary of my competitive analysis. So just products that exist currently right now that are kind of comparable to mine. So this is just one example, something that I kind of grew up with, the Momentous Weighted Practice Club. So this idea, it did already exist. However, I found there was certain flaws to it. So one example would be the club is just too heavy for actual practice. It's more so just like a training tool, but you can't actually hit balls with it. So I was thinking of applying what I've learned from this and using it to actually being able to use a club on the course. And the grip cannot be removed or attached to any of your main set of clubs. So it's just like one club on its own. Here's just another example. So this is the correct hand position training grip. This is closer to what I had in mind. However, it also has its flaws. It is difficult to put on your clubs as you have to remove your original grip to do so. And it's also one generic grip position for all. So basically, sorry, just one second. So throughout my research, I've realized how many different hand sizes and positions every golfer has. So I found that crafting a custom mold of your training grip tailored to your hand size is crucial for grip development. Also, having the accessibility to easily attach this grip onto your original grip makes the process much easier and faster to complete. All right, so how? So this is essentially the user journey of my product. Basically, the user is introduced to the product, then the user undergoes a lesson with a teaching pro that corrects their grip. Then that grip is there's a mold that's created out of that grip. From there, the mold is then 3D scanned and sent to a modeling software. Once it's in the software, the model is developed, and like attaching connectors and whatnot. And then once the model's developed, it's 3D printed and test fitted. And then after that, the physical computing kind of plays a part where you add a force sensor onto the grip. And then finally, the product is ready to be shipped to the user. So here are just some prototypes that I have at the moment. So right now, that's the current prototype that I have. Gone through many different iterations, but yeah, this is what I have right now. This is just a little video of me demonstrating the grip. This was a previous iteration, but a little loud. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I just wanted to take this opportunity to ask some questions because I'm really curious to hear your inputs on this product. You know, whether or not you like it, and so yeah, just be completely honest. Don't feel free to rip it apart. It's completely fine. That's what we're here for. So yeah, my first question is, how important is grip force and grip position for golf? So yeah, if anyone would like to jump in.
I'll defer to Casey on this, and then I have
Alright.
my own
I'll
stance.
go for it. I think that definitely certainly is important, because there are so many, different. It depends. It's kind of like matching up with a person's swing is going to be important, certainly. But the grip plays a huge role in how you deliver the club, and you'll see all kinds of funky things, especially in people who are just getting started. I think this could be really kind of like a neat tool to kind of get them off on the right foot, so to speak.
Sweet.
Yeah, and so matching that up, like in my understanding of golf, the golf grip is your only connection to the golf club, which is your only connection to the golf ball, right? So we're trying to match up swing path and wrist angles at impact to ensure that the club is more stable through the impact area, producing more consistent shot shapes. And that's I guess the increase in being able to do that should lower your handicap and make you a more consistent player. So that's the science of trying to have more consistent impact positions, which is really significant with how you're holding the club. So a lot of the times we hold the club incorrectly, and intuitively we make adjustments with our spatial reasoning when we're making a golf swing. So is it a cause and effect? Perhaps, but the most important connection to the golf club is your grip. So if you can maintain that and have those matchups for a student to say, here's what we're trying to do in your golf swing, and have you place your hands on the club correctly, solve a lot of the trial and error, the back and forth in golf lessons and teaching, because you've eliminated one of the biggest factors that causes a lot of swing errors if you have a good grip.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, really insightful.
Yeah, I think I would just add quick as the only layman on this call in terms of golf instruction. I agree with what Casey said. I think for newcomers to the game of golf, learning the grip and understanding the relationship there, I think it would be very helpful for them.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. Alrighty. So just another question. So how often do you guys find yourself correcting golfers' grip force and grip positions? Like when you have lessons, do you find that's sort of one of the first things that you guys do?
Go ahead, Donna.
I find it something I always talk or start at one of the 5 fundamentals: grip, stance, alignment, ball position, posture. I'm not teaching students at a extremely high level of competition. So typically I'm teaching avid golfers, 50 handicaps and less. I have a few competitive players, but that's one thing that I would always look to begin a lesson series or a coaching program, to take a look at grip, and that's something that we would always assess throughout lesson series or coaching if I'm working with a student throughout the season. And it's definitely, in practice, I always find that what's comfortable, or what position you feel most comfortable on the grip, and even in my own golf game, reverting back to what feels comfortable, especially when you're in a pressure situation. It's a difficult thing to change your grip and then stay with it without consistently looking at it again and making small adjustments.
Okay, interesting. Alrighty, next question. So, how do you help people acquire a correct grip and maintain that grip throughout their swing? So I guess Donovan, you kind of touched on that. Yeah, I guess that's just something that I'm curious about. Like, do you guys find that the grip changes throughout the swing for, people that you teach?
Ideally, no.
Okay, well, that's good to hear.
If it does, I would say one thing that does change though. I mean, obviously you don't want somebody to be regripping the club. Sometimes you'll see players regrip the club at the top of their swing, which isn't ideal. But one thing that does change a lot is their grip pressure. So it may start out really light, and then kind of by the time they're hitting the ball, it's gone from, kind of like, let's say a scale of 1 to 10, it started out as a 2 and we're up to a 10, somewhere along the way.
So
Yeah.
do you find that like grip pressure sort of increases as you're about to hit the ball? Like on impact, do you think people tighten their grip?
I would think so, just because of the force that's applied. But yeah, if I had to guess, I don't have any empirical data to back that up. Maybe with your grip, we can get that. But I would certainly say, yeah, especially just tension increases just naturally.
Sweet.
Yeah, I would kind of be aligned with Casey's thought there. Grip pressure throughout the swing, I think, is something that you want to, in theory, maintain a consistent grip pressure. In application, I think it's almost impossible, especially in transition from backswing to downswing and through the impact area as that club head is accelerating into impact. The forces applied on the club face make it, significantly heavier than a simple golf club. So the forces applied are, you're trying to, open the club face or close the club face. Your release pattern would also probably affect the forces applied to the grip. You just think about a guy like BJ Singh, if you look at his impact position, he's throwing his right hand off the grip through impact because he's trying to keep the club face from closing. So his grip pressure would obviously change throughout, but then the average player would be increasing their grip pressure and rotating the toe over. So there's different release patterns that would affect, I think, grip pressure as well.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so this question more so relates to how golfers like what problems do they encounter with their grip as they age? Like, do you find that golfers' grips change as they age? And if so, how would you kind of implement some sort of teaching tool to maintain consistency? It might not be the case, but I'm just curious.
I think Declan, people with like arthritis in their hands is something that you see a lot. And so obviously they can't maintain the same grip pressure. They possibly can't close their hands as much. And you see a lot of older players going towards larger grip sizes just to kind of counteract that.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've even noticed with my dad. He used to have a harder grip, and now he has like softer grips, so it's definitely easier for him. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
oh yeah, sweet. Okay, so just another question. Do you think incorrect grip causes grip injuries? And if so, where do these injuries occur?
Mhm. That's a good question. I don't know that they would necessarily lead to grip, like hand injuries all the time, but it may lead to something, down the line. Like if you had a grip, um, let's say your grip causes the club face to be really open,
Mhm.
person may really cut across the ball, or let's say for a right-handed player, swing really hard to the left in order to, what kind of like the brain says is to counteract that. So if you were to do that, and let's say kind of through that process, you start to hit really down on the ball, or like kind of jamming the club almost into the ground, you may find that there's some kind of injuries that would move up the line.
Yep.
I have certainly seen like some thumb injuries though, depending on how you're kind of like what pressures are placed on the joints.
For sure. Sorry, I just wanted to make one note. Thanks, Jason, for attending this meeting. I know you have to leave, so yeah, feel free to. Really appreciate you coming by. But yeah, what was I going to say? Because I've actually experienced this issue myself in terms of over gripping a club. I found like I've had a couple injuries in my thumbs, much like what you're talking about, from over gripping the club. Um, I I guess it was due to my grips being a little old, but yeah, I found like I would need to over grip them in order for the club not to like rotate at all mid swing. So I guess I was just curious as to if other people that you guys teach, if they had similar issues. But
I,
yeah,
I've definitely, I think you're at a disadvantage if you're putting too much pressure club too tightly, and then matching that up with an open club face, because you're like, to Casey's point, you're trying to close that club face through impact to square the club face up. So there's potential for some wrist issues. If you're coming down steep, like Casey mentioned, you're
mhm,
coming down with a lot of force into the ground. If you're catching it a little heavy behind a golf ball, especially if you're playing in turf conditions that are a little bit more dry. There's a lot of force that can drive back up the shaft into your grip and into your hands. So if you're gripping it extremely tight, then there could be vibration issues.
for
Uh,
sure. Yeah, like
stuff.
on impact with the ground. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense. Definitely.
yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Donovan. We're almost at the end. So yeah, this is just an honest question. Do you guys think that this would be a marketable product? Do you guys see pros? Do you guys see cons in this product? And if so, feel free to let me know.
I like it. Declan, my one uh, comment would be, or one of my questions would be like, how much thickness does the does the product increase the grip size by? Just because that's something that can, like, if you're using a thicker grip, then kind of changes things around, like we talked about. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, no, I've definitely made note of that because yeah, you don't want to have just this super thick grip. I believe my presentation, my slides are over, so I'm gonna stop sharing and I'll actually show you the prototype. Cool. Yeah, so this is actually the prototype that I have right now, if you guys can see. So right now, I've got it down to 2 pieces, and it's easy to just take apart. So you can see it is fairly thin. Like there are certain areas that require extra thickness based on like where your fingers are positioned. However, there are areas that are like super thin, like right in the middle here. Anything along the palm is really thin because yeah, I did take that into account because obviously the idea is to create a consistent grip, but if you're using a product that's too thick, it's obviously not going to be inconsistent. So that's definitely worth noting. But yeah, thank you for providing that. Definitely. Yeah. I don't know if I was too clear, but so right now I'm on my first, well, I just finished my first term for my thesis. Right now I'm implementing force sensors on this guy. I mentioned in earlier that I'm gonna have a few force sensors. So basically that will indicate their ideal grip force. So it'll be responded with like either red or green light, red indicating if it's too weak or it's too strong, and green indicating if it's correct. So, I mean, that's kind of where I am at right now at the moment with the product. But yeah, Donovan, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I would say, I think in theory, if there was a device such that you're describing, I think it would be definitely marketable and sought after for a lot of people to identify one of the biggest problems in golf, which is not gripping the club correctly. So the application of a device that you could put on your golf club and then transfer that from club to club to club, I think is very, very intuitive and intelligent to you can put that on your driver, or you can take it and put it on a wedge and hit chip shots with it. I think that's pretty neat. So it's just a matter of being able to match up the technologies that allow it to not be too cumbersome. Like, it's one thing if it's a little bit larger than your average grip, but when it gets to like the size of a baseball bat, not to say that is, but that would be the only big drawback. If it gets too large, then it's not really the same grip at all. But I think it's very interesting.
Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for the meeting. Really appreciate that you guys could come out. Really means a lot to me. And
My pleasure.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks, and yeah, have a good day. Hope everyone's doing well.
Okay, you too, Declan. We'll see you soon. Thanks a lot for including us.
That's perfect. Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
thanks,
take
Doug.
care.
Take care.